Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you feels like the opening scene of a World War III movie, but it's happening right now. So as of this very moment, count them, two U.S. nuclear submarines are moving into undisclosed strike positions near Russia's borders, locked, loaded, and ready to respond after a week of chilling nuclear threats from Putin's inner circle. Now, as of tonight, in an unprecedented last-minute gamble, President Donald J. Trump has dispatched a high-powered envoy to Moscow, Steve Witkoff, on a mission that could change history in the next 24 hours. This is it. This is it. Putin's final chance to choose peace or drag the world toward unthinkable catastrophe. Now, I'm telling you right now, folks, the world has never been this close to the edge since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the clock is ticking fast. Guys, this is the deadline here. We're approaching it. August 8th. August 8th is the deadline that President Trump set for Putin to stand down in the Ukraine or face crippling secondary sanctions and total economic isolation. But, of course, here's the twist that you're not hearing anywhere else. The standoff isn't just words anymore. The subs are in position. The ultimatum is real. And Trump's bold two-pronged strike, diplomacy in Moscow backed by unmatched U.S. military power, this has stunned the Kremlin. So the question is, are we watching the strongest display of American leadership in decades, or are we staring down the fuse of World War III? Now, stick with me, guys, because what I'm about to reveal, the secret envoy's mission details, Putin's chilling dead hand nuclear threat, and of course, the shocking intelligence on where those submarines might be lurking, it's going to leave you asking yourself if we're one word away from the unthinkable. Now, don't blink your eyes, don't click away, because today you're going to have to decide which side of history you're on. Trump's all or nothing peace gamble or the march toward all-out war, possibly World War III. If you appreciate the news updates, hit the like button and subscribe. I thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your support. All right, folks, so I want to go ahead and start with what's sending shockwaves across the globe right now. President Donald J. Trump has just ordered 2 U.S. nuclear submarines into strategic strike positions near Russian waters. This is not a drill. This is not a routine maneuver. This is a real-world military deterrence unfolding just hours before the August 8th deadline that he's set for Moscow back down and agree to a ceasefire in the Ukraine. Now, for days, President Trump, he's been warning Putin's inner circle that America will no longer stand by while Russia escalates this war. And now we're seeing what peace through strength really looks like. I mean, the submarines are moving silently. Their exact locations are classified, but make no mistake, these aren't just empty threats. The message is clear: protecting America, protecting allies, stopping nuclear blackmail. Trump is putting hard power on the table to force an end to this madness. But here's where you come in. Is this brilliant patriotic leadership finally making Russia think twice, or are we one wrong word away from World War III? I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments as we go, because, guys, I want to know where you stand. What side of the decision are you? Make your thoughts be heard. Oh, and do not go anywhere, because what I'm about to tell you next is going to make your blood run cold. The very threats that forced President Trump to take this historic action. So this escalation didn't come out of nowhere. It actually started with Dmitry Medvedev. This is Russia's former president and now deputy head of the Security Council, ultimately unleashing nuclear threats against the United States. He mocked Trump's ceasefire ultimatum, warning that every demand to end the war with Ukraine is a step toward direct war with America. And then it got darker than that. Medvedev bragged about Russia's Soviet-era dead hand system, an automatic doomsday device that can launch nuclear strikes even if Russian leadership is wiped out. Now think about that. A Russian official publicly taunting the U.S. with the image of a last resort nuclear apocalypse, telling the world that they're not afraid to push the button? Really? So Trump had a choice. He could back down like past administrations, or he could make it crystal clear that America won't be bullied with nuclear threats. So he deployed the subs. Now the world is now watching a very high stakes game of chicken where the wrong move could, come from either side and it could change the history of the world forever. Now, here's the kicker. We've only just scratched the surface because tonight a high-powered Trump envoy is on a plane to Moscow with what some are calling Putin's final chance to avoid global disaster. But will Putin take it, or is he going to spit in America's face one last time? Oh, in just a second, I want to tell you exactly who this envoy is and what they're carrying and why this mission could ultimately decide whether tomorrow's headlines read peace deal signed or World War III begins. Now, Carolyn, she thought that she was safe with her Medicare plan until a hospital visit left her staring at $4,000 in medical bills the plan wouldn't cover. She called Chapter and they immediately helped her to switch to a better plan that protected her from that future surprise or from future surprises. Now, Leslie Taylor, she had a very similar story. She said, Ron, I saved $1,000 a year after switching with Chapter. This is why I partner with Chapters, folk. They look out for the very things that other agents miss. So that way you're not left with some crushing bills later on. I love it. I love Chapter. I love what they're doing for our community. And I thoroughly encourage you guys to keep sharing your stories with me because I'm going to keep sharing them with everyone else because it's amazing. So if you haven't called yet, give our friends at Chapter a call right now. Phone number is 909-563-8279 or visit them on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. They're doing some amazing things in the community and you could be next. So now let's talk about the move that nobody saw coming. This is a bold diplomatic strike running in parallel with the military one. Now, as I speak, Steve Witkoff, a longtime Trump ally and trusted negotiator, he's on his way to Moscow, and his mission to deliver what insiders are calling Putin's last best shot at peace. The offer reportedly includes sanctions relief and potential future investment deals, but only if Russia agrees to a real, verifiable ceasefire in the Ukraine. Now, Trump is essentially putting the choice in Putin's hands. Lay down your weapons and rebuild your economy, or face total isolation and U.S. force readiness like you've never seen before. Now, this is classic Trump deal making on the world stage. Hard power in one hand and a business lifeline in another. A perfect mix of carrot and stick backed by two nuclear submarines that send the unmistakable message. This time, America means business. Now, the question tonight isn't whether Putin will take this deal. It's whether he even can, really, with his own war hawks breathing down his neck and China lurking in the background. But hang on, guys, because this story isn't about peace talks. Well, it is, but it isn't just about peace talks. We're now starting at a 24-hour countdown that could decide if tomorrow brings a breakthrough or the first direct clash between the United States and Russia since the Cold War. So here's what you really need to know. The clock is running out fast. Tomorrow, August 8th, 2025, President Trump's ultimatum expires, okay? Now, if Russia hasn't agreed to end its aggression in the Ukraine, Trump has promised to unleash secondary sanctions on every nation still buying Russian oil, and that includes China, India, and others that are keeping Putin afloat. Now, this isn't just a financial squeeze. Analysts are warning that it could collapse Russia's wartime economy overnight, cutting off billions and even leaving Putin straight up desperate, maybe even more dangerous. And so this is why his deadline feels like it's standing on the edge of a cliff. Will Putin fold under unprecedented economic and military pressure, or will Putin lash out, making good on Medvedev's nuclear threats? I think it's pretty clear. At this point, every hour that ticks by, it brings us closer and closer to an answer. And tonight, the entire world is holding its breath. So listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal next, this could be the most chilling part of this entire crisis. The nuclear submarines that are now lurking in unknown waters closer to Russia than ever before, are they a shield of protection, or are they a spark waiting to ignite World War III? Now, I'm going to tell you what we know and what the Pentagon refuses to confirm in just a second. Now, folks, this is where things get real. And I really mean world ending kind of real. Okay. 2 U.S. nuclear submarines are currently on silent patrol. They're currently on silent patrol. Their exact locations are classified, but trusted intel says that they're closer to Russian waters than at any point in recent memory. Now, these aren't just power displays. They're strike-ready platforms that could unleash devastation if Russia dares to make good on its threats. Now, President Trump confirmed their deployment on Truth Social on August 1st, stating plainly, words matter. Provocations have consequences. This isn't the old era of empty talk from Washington, folks. This is peace through strength, the kind of leadership that reminds hostile powers that America doesn't bluff when nuclear threats are on the table. But here's where the tension explodes. Is this brilliance deterrence? The move that prevents war by showing superior force? Or does it risk pushing Putin's cornered regime into a desperate, catastrophic miscalculation? Even NATO allies, they're whispering that the world is closer to a nuclear standoff than during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And yet, ask yourself this. If Trump hadn't acted, if America showed weakness now, how many more nuclear threats would be hurled our way? Anybody have any guesses? Like, how much more closer would the world drift toward chaos without this iron wall of deterrence standing firm? Comment down below. Do you see this as the strength that America needs, or is this truly the edge of World War III right now? Because what I'm about to reveal, it really kind of makes this even more dangerous. Russia isn't standing alone in this showdown. China is waiting in the wings, and the stakes just got global. Now, behind the scenes, another battle is being fought, a geopolitical knife fight that could determine whether peace is even possible. So since 2022, Russia and China have been operating under a no-limits partnership. So Beijing provides tech and military support while Moscow floods them with cheap oil. Together, they've built a lifeline to keep Putin's war machine running. Now, President Trump's strategy isn't just aimed at Moscow. It's a full court press on Beijing. Insiders say he's making it clear any nation that props up Putin's war effort will feel the full weight of U.S. secondary sanctions. So if Trump can split Russia and China, it would be one of the greatest foreign policy victories in decades, breaking the backbone of the alliance, fueling this war, and ultimately showing the world that America is back in charge of global stability. But what if it fails? What if the economic pressure only forges a tighter Moscow-Beijing pact, giving Putin even more of a reason to gamble on nuclear brinkmanship, right? Like, this is the knife's edge that we're on right now. Every conversation in Moscow, every backroom deal in Beijing, every submarine movement underneath the waves, it's all leading to a single explosive question. Are we pulling the world back from war, or are we sleepwalking straight into it? And if the stakes weren't high enough, there's a human tragedy that's happening in this war that adds a moral firestorm to the entire debate. And this is something that could change how you view this crisis forever. Now, I'm going to reveal the heartbreaking truth in just a second, and you're going to understand why Trump says enough is enough as he pushes for a ceasefire. Now, stick with me, guys, because this part is probably going to hit you in the gut. Now, before we talk about the global fallout, you need to hear this, because this is not just about nukes, sanctions, or submarines. This war has a human cost that should haunt every world leader. Now, according to verified reports, 20,000 to 30,000 Ukrainian children have been taken from their homes, their families, their schools, forcibly relocated and resettled inside of Russia. Now, some were abducted from care homes. Others were ripped away under false promises of holidays or protection. Parents are desperately searching, crossing borders into hostile territory just for a chance to see their sons and their daughters again. Many may never return. And while global headlines fixate on politics and power plays, this atrocity is quietly being ignored on the world stage. Trump made it clear. This is one of the driving forces behind his demand for a ceasefire now. Because what kind of civilized world allows tens of thousands of children to vanish into an enemy state while leaders are bickering over diplomacy? This is why This is why waiting for negotiations to drag on or letting Russia's threats dictate America's response is not an option. Trump is pushing hard because lives, innocent lives, they're hanging in the balance every single day that this war drags on. And yet, every move to end it comes with a terrible risk. A single miscalculation could turn this crisis nuclear. This is the razor's edge that we're walking on right now. And so while this standoff plays out, the world economy is shaking. The moment Trump announced the deployment of nuclear submarines last week, global markets shuddered, stocks dipped, oil prices surged, and energy investors worldwide braced for the possibility of sanctions and sudden world scenarios. So Europe is on edge. NATO has quietly moved defense forces into Eastern Europe just in case this turns into a shooting conflict. And every headline from Washington or Moscow sends ripples across the globe, wiping billions off markets in minutes. Ordinary people, families, just trying to pay their bills. They're watching gas prices and food costs rise. They're waiting to see if this crisis ends in peace or in fire. So this is why the stakes are so high tonight. This isn't just a battle of words between world leaders. This is a chain reaction that can shake economies. It can destroy families, and it can change history forever. And now, as the clock ticks toward the August 8th deadline, we're left staring at one possible question. Is Trump's hardline stance, the submarines, the sanctions, the last chance envoy, the final hope to stop this war? Or is it the fuse that lights World War III? Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a choice that every American, every person watching this show around the world needs to make right now. So here we are, folks, less than 24 hours from Trump's, August deadline, and the entire world is hanging in the balance. 2 nuclear submarines are locked into position. The envoy is racing through the night sky toward Moscow, and the Kremlin is facing the biggest decision of Putin's lifetime. Choose peace or gamble with global annihilation. Now, we covered it all tonight. The nuclear threats from Medvedev, the submarines silently moving into position, the desperate mission to stop this war, the children torn from their families, and the ripple effect hitting every corner of the globe. But now it comes down to one thing. What kind of leadership do you believe the world needs right now? Is President Trump showing the strength that America needs, finally standing firm against nuclear blackmail, rescuing and refusing to let rogue powers dictate the future of freedom? Or do you believe that these particular moves bring us closer and closer to the edge, one bad decision away from triggering World War III? Now, I want you to drop your answer in the comments down below. One word: strength, if you believe Trump's actions are actually what's needed to secure peace. World War III, or WW3, if you believe that this path is just too dangerous. This is your chance to have your voice heard, guys, because history, it's being written as we speak, and tomorrow's headlines may tell a very different story. Now, before you go, YouTube thinks you're going to love this video that just popped up on your screen right here, and it's all connected to what we've just covered today. So click on that video and keep watching, because the stakes for America, for the world, are far from over.